Welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Melanie Christopher.
I'm Byron Brown with In for Walt Grayson. We begin with breaking news. 3 people are dead after a medical response helicopter crash in Madison County.
12 News, Cameron Smith joins us live. Cam, what have you been able to find out?
Melanie, according to Heath Hall with the Madison County Sheriff's Office, the helicopter crashed in a heavily wooded area near the Natchez Trace and Pipeline Road. According to UMMC, 2 of its crew members and a MedTrans pilot were on board. The hospital confirms that no patient was on board. The hospital is working to contact families of deceased. Hall tells us authorities are waiting on federal aviation authorities to arrive. We will remain on scene to await further information. Live in Madison County, Cameron Smith, 12 News.
Welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Melanie Christopher.
I'm Byron Brown with In for Walt Grayson. We begin with breaking news. 3 people are dead after a medical response helicopter crash in Madison County.
12 News, Cameron Smith joins us live. Cam, what have you been able to find out?
Melanie, according to Heath Hall with the Madison County Sheriff's Office, the helicopter crashed in a heavily wooded area near the Natchez Trace and Pipeline Road. According to UMMC, 2 of its crew members and a MedTrans pilot were on board. The hospital confirms that no patient was on board. The hospital is working to contact families of the deceased. Hall tells us authorities are waiting on federal aviation authorities to arrive. We will remain on scene to await further information. Live in Madison County, Cameron Smith, 12 News.
Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 6, everyone. I'm Byron Brown.
And I'm Melanie Christopher.
It's a sad day for the UMMC family as we learn new details about a deadly air care helicopter crash in Madison County. Officials confirm that 3 people on board were killed.
12 News, Cameron Smith joining us live now from the staging area. And Cam, what have you been able to find out?
Melanie, it's a tragic day for the families who are mourning the loss of their loved ones who were on this helicopter. We did catch up with Madison County Sheriff Randall Tucker, who says they had officials respond and they did see smoke in the area. And where the helicopter crashed was a hard area to get to based on where it was. And it landed in a heavily wooded area near the Natchez Trace and Pipeline Road. The sheriff notes that they first became aware of the situation when citizens started calling around 12:40 about a possible helicopter crash. Officials confirm a MedTrans pilot and 2 crew members from University Medical Center in Jackson were on board. The hospital announced no patient was on board, and they're working to notify the families of those who lost their life this afternoon. And the sheriff is holding those names until each family is notified. He says anytime a first responder loses their life, it affects them in the same manner.
Yo, Dub.
A lot of those flight medics, flight nurses, pilots, we train a lot with them. You know, we cross-train with them, and they're friends of ours. And they're certainly going about their job in a professional manner, delivering the sickest of the sick and the worst of the hurt. And, you know, it's a tough day for sure.
The sheriff is keeping the victims' families and the UMMC family in his thoughts and prayers as they mourn their loss. The sheriff confirms that the federal aviation authorities are here on the scene and the National Transportation Safety Board is en route. The NTSB will be investigating throughout the evening, and the sheriff says that officers will be around the area. He also noted that they will open up most of the roadblocks, but they do have to keep some of those locations closed due to the nature of the crash. Live in Madison County, Cameron Smith, 12 News.
Cameron, thank you. Governor Tate Reeves has released a statement on the deadly medical helicopter crash, saying the First Lady of Mississippi, Ely Reeves, and I are praying for the victims of today's helicopter crash in Madison County. Please keep their families and co-workers in your prayers. It's a tragic reminder of the risks Mississippi's first responders take every day to keep us safe. Our state will never forget the sacrifice of these heroes.
Details about this terrible helicopter crash in Mississippi, and then we'll further discuss. Check it out.
And loss to the medical center family. Air Care 3, our air care helicopter based out of Columbus, made a patient transport earlier today and we're traveling back. And shortly afternoon today, we received notification that the helicopter went down. We have had confirmation from law enforcement officials.
Ladies and
on
gents,
site
make sure you check
there were
out
no
JLR's
survivors.
channel. I posted it.
There was
in the
not a
chat.
patient on the helicopter at the time. There were 3 crew members. Their families have been notified.
And the great Magnolia.
And we want to express our deepest condolences. The entire medical center family is heartbroken over this. We also want to express our concern and sadness and support for the air care team here at the medical center. This is the crew that responds to emergencies all across the state. And to see them today to respond to one of their own was just something you can't put into words. We are sad to report this news. This is a tragic day for the medical center. That's the end of my statement.
Okay, take questions.
Are these young people in their families, can you say anything about them, the crew?
So there were 3 crew members on board, 2 medical personnel and 1 pilot. The families have been notified. At this time, we are not releasing any names. We are maintaining that confidentiality out of respect for the privacy of the families and the individuals involved.
And at this time, do you know the cause of the crash? Is it being investigated?
It is being investigated. We do not know the cause. FAA is here, NTSB, they are running an investigation. And so at this moment, that's all I can say about any kind of cause or reason. We simply don't know. But the officials who do these investigations, the investigation is underway.
You've lost your employees.
Well, we just had a couple helicopter crashes the other day, I believe.
So we have a helicopter partner, MedTrans, and we lease this helicopter from MedTrans, and the pilot is employed by MedTrans. They are an amazing partner, and we've had a long-standing partnership. In fact, a real point of pride has been our safety record. In the history of our helicopter program, this is our first crash. On a normal day, I'd be so happy telling you that. That news today sounds awfully hollow and unimportant, but safety is a top priority for all involved.
So this is a well-maintained aircraft?
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry I'm late. I want to get some information from you concerning this, as a matter of fact.
Debbie, I'm going to try and get a hold of Elon and see if we can put up a no-fly zone.
So I don't mind saying it again, that today we had a terrible day at the medical center.
Fly all over, but we already got a.
We learned in the early afternoon that Air Care 3, our helicopter based in Columbus,
all day,
had transported a patient. They had refueled and they were headed
and he's
back
a pretty
out.
good crop duster.
And shortly, it was in Madison County. Shortly, after leaving here, the helicopter went down. There were multiple law enforcement officials on site, as you might imagine, and we did receive confirmation that all 3 people on the helicopter, the pilot, as well as 2 healthcare crew members, were deceased. There were no survivors.
No cause has been determined as of right now, ma'am?
That's correct. No cause is known at this time. An investigation is underway.
Was everybody on board a UMC employee?
2 of the members on board, the healthcare team members, were UMC employees. Our air care employees, the pilot is employed by MedTrans, our helicopter partner.
And where did they go down?
It was out in remote Madison County.
Were they on a run on call at that time?
They were returning to base after having delivered a patient. So I've made the point, but just to make that point again, there was no patient on board.
How big is this family, this area family? You're talking about hundreds of people?
So the family impacted is certainly hundreds of people. Air Care is housed here with our Mississippi Center for Emergency Services. This is our team that responds to disasters, our MedCom team that manages patient transfers, and it's part of our general sort of emergency services. So, but I would suffice it to say that the entire medical center family feels this loss.
Do we know an age?
Debbie, you ever watch them crop dusters?
We do not.
These guys are pretty good out here. It looks like they're going to crash.
We
right?
have 4 helicopters that are
But they
stationed
don't.
around the
It's-
state.
It's crazy.
And we have a
Sometimes
very
they go
busy
into
helicopter service. We
roll.
have one of the
They'll
busiest
spray the
medical
field and
transport
pull up real
helicopter
quick.
services in the country. There's a big
And it's
demand
like
for
they
those
don't-
services.
It's almost like they stall
And I was
out,
saying just a few moments ago,
and then they turn around and
you know,
come right back
if
down. It's
we
really
weren't
cool.
having this news that we're having
And
today, I would proudly tell
didn't
you
believe
we've not had a crash
Anytime I seen
until
them,
today. We have an outstanding safety record.
you had to go underneath.
In light of the events of today, it doesn't feel like a real bragging point. You know, that kind of goes out the window when
And
something
sometimes
horrible
it
like
looks
this
like he's
happens.
going to crash into a car
Who conducted the
across
investigation?
20.
The FAA and the NTSB, National
And
Transport
as you're
Safety Board,
driving,
they
he
are the
comes
ones that
across.
conduct these investigations.
It's pretty cool.
And
you
I'm
know.
apologize, I was
You've
late,
seen
but
it.
maybe
You
you
live
answered
up
this
there.
already. Could you tell me how many fatalities there were? And
There-
what was the cause?
There were 3 fatalities. The helicopter went down. There was a crash. Nobody survived. There was a pilot and 2 healthcare staff members.
And do they know what caused the crash at this point?
It's under investigation.
Can we say, was there any radio traffic from the air back to MedCom about what was going on at that point in the bird?
All of that is part of the investigation.
And what's the next step you all have?
So the next step is we already are engaged with the parties that are doing the investigation, and we will continue to be engaged with them. And hopefully we'll all be able to learn, you know, what happened. But certainly our most immediate step is trying to support the families involved, the families of the individuals that lost their lives today, as well as the families here at work who cared about these healthcare professionals.
And have you released the names and their positions of the victims?
We have not. The families have been notified, but we are not releasing names just to protect them and their privacy.
You said they were based in Columbus. Do they actually live in Columbus as well? Can you say that?
No.
Debbie, you
They
got
don't all
her.
live in Columbus.
Yeah, we got skydivers out here by Hogway.
And part of the flight track that we saw is that it stopped.
But you
at
also
St.
have them
Dominic's
paragliders,
Hospital
right?
and then flew away from that. Do you know any?
I cannot confirm that. That may
I
have
wanna
just
give
been
a
a
shout
glitch
out.
in picking up where somebody's tracking from. We don't have any information that
LA
the
Express
helicopter
gas
stopped at
station
St.
food,
Dominic's.
which I think they have fish and fish,
About what time did this take place?
chicken, and hush puppies
About 12:30,
at night.
12:30, 12:40 in that time frame.
Tastes pretty good. The food. Now, once again, I have
Thank you
no
all for coming out.
affiliation with any of it,
What is up with all the
but I am one
helicopter crashes and plane
kind of
crashes
cool.
around the country?
of food.
We
At
just
least gas
recently
station
discussed the helicopter crash in Texas.
That's not
And
bad.
these plane crashes left and right all over the place in the last 2 months. Nome, Alaska, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., even in Vermont, where a plane crashed on top of the mountain. What's going on here, folks? FAA, NTSB's investigating these things. Is it just because of the internet now, we know more about this and it's always been common, or is there something else going on here? Sabotage, bad piloting, bad weather, a combination of it all. What is happening with these
It could be a
helicopter
combination of
crashes
all.
around the country? Our thoughts and prayers are with
You know,
everyone
them
involved in
helicopters are very
Mississippi.
expensive.
We continue to cover all the crashes on JLR Investigates. So if you want to know about what's going on, this is the channel to watch.
And
When more
eventually, if
information
you
comes out
don't
about
do
this,
proper
if there's
maintenance,
anything nefarious
Yes,
about the
exactly.
situation, you'll hear it here
Also,
too.
weather.
We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.
Hot air. You run into a pocket of thin air, you got no lift. You got no lift. You're going to the ground. So, numerous things. Weather, pilot error, possibly machine error. Numerous things. Oh, I think I'm pretty much stuffed on hush puppies and chicken though. And then before that, before I just went to the gas station, I made 2 pieces of sausage and an egg on top of butter and toast. And that was pretty good. Breakfast, right? But then I was like, there was a deal going, $5 for a big thing of chicken and hush puppies. And I went on and I jumped on it, and it tastes pretty good. Now, if you don't hear from me tomorrow, well, I guess you all know why. Joking, or am I? Now, let's get back to the rest of the night. There you go, folks. Another helicopter crash. This is like the 3rd one, I think, within a month or a couple weeks or something. Yeah, and then you have to remember now, we got a problem with our magnetic force field and our magnetic poles switching, and that might be playing a part in the electronics. I mean, I'm no wizard, but it's very possible. We love you Scotland people out there, and William Wallace and everybody from Scotland. Don't tear down the Trump's golf field, or we'll all be paying taxes on it. Crazy Scotland. All right, I think I am done with this video. I will be back with more news and more madness and more of everything. Make sure you folks go check out the crazy loonies of the Ernie Show 5-part segment of what happened to all these people. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Expose them all. I don't know. You folks have a great night. God bless.